Okay, this is my concluding thoughts on cannabis and addictions and medical uses, and the two videos I concluded previously. I finally weaned out of myself the use of cannabis and given it some thought and consideration and further studies. I'd like to give you my concluding thoughts. Now, it's very difficult to, I can't hold this up and say it's a good thing, but I've prayed about this, and there is some genuine herbal remedies, if you like, and I've explained about the different strains. So it can be isolated, and there is medical benefits, and it's not really my job to prescribe medication to anyone, but so I just want to say and reaffirm that there is some medical benefit in cannabis. There's many uses, but the trouble is it's going to be owned by corporate powers, and that's where I fear the dangers lie. That's where the lies will be. And the only way I could really see it personally for myself being okay is if it was legal for me to grow it, I had permission, then I know what strains to choose, and I know what plants are high in the right properties, and what those properties do to help. You know, there's there's many properties, but the main psychoactive property is THC. The anti-psychoactive property is CBD, and I know what plants are which is which. And if I were to do it, I'm not going to do it. I've decided that now I've stopped it, and I'm not going to do it anymore. It's a very slim benefit, and it's the same with alcohol. You know, it's not something I want to do either, and that's something I haven't been using for nervous anxiety and stress. When I get really nervous, it's something I use to, you know, cure my nerves. But I'm hoping and praying I can just prove, you know, my environment, and, you know, become more sanctified in the Holy Spirit, so to manage it more with faith rather than, you know, using herbs. Although I don't want to condone anyone who does that, makes that choice. I would just warn to be cautious about you know, using the stuff. So if I were to do it, I would get the legal permission. I would breed the plant. Now that could take some time. Or if I got the right strain, that could be, you know, one or two goes at it, one or two crosses, and I'd be there. Then I could get the right medication that I needed by trial and error in faith, and I would do that with the Lord in a secure environment. I wouldn't mix that with anyone, and I wouldn't hold it up. It would be something like, you know, if I was diabetic and I had to inject insulin into myself, it's not something I'd do publicly. It'd be something you'd do in the bathroom or in your private area. So I've decided not to do it, and so my concluding thoughts are that it can be a benefit to some. You know, herbal remedies can be a benefit, but thinking about smoking it, you know, smoking's hot vapours into your lungs, not a healthy thing. And these what are they called? Those humidifiers, or those you know, those smoke. Those electronic cigarettes that you use, you can get cannabis inhalers like that, but you'd need to extract that yourself, and there's chemicals in that are dangerous. And one of the dangers of cannabis plants is it absorbs all toxins out of the soil. So if you were growing it yourself and you're using chemical fertilisers, all of that's sucked into the plant. Any toxic properties in the soil, contamination in the soil, the plant will this is well known, that the plant will absorb pollution. It would just suck it up through the roots into itself, and then, you know, digest the stuff. So that's one thing you've got to be careful, especially using commercial fertilisers, which is not something I ever do, not even when I grow food. I use completely organic compost or manure, or, you know, what nature, you know, what nutrients nature provides. So it's a dangerous plant, and you'd have to be careful. So if you are medicating on your sick bed, you know, I would just recommend caution and investigate it and pray about it and be very careful. And I think the best way would be to naturally eat it. But the trouble is, with all drugs, there's side effects, and some of those side effects could be psychoactive. Even with the high property CBD, there could still be small traces of THC left in the plant. So there's the dangers, and that's my conclusion, really. So I don't condone herbal remedies, but it's just all the broad pitfalls surrounding that very narrow, slim benefit. So that's what I was basically trying to get across, that, you know, that some people may need that, where others it would be a bane, and it'd be very dangerous, especially to young people, to children, to people with, you know, like emotional problems, which can be like an iceberg, that you might not see what's under the surface, and THC can bring that right out, and that could be a serious consequence for somebody. So thankfully, and I thank anyone who's been praying for me to help me beat that. Now, to be honest, it's not something I found difficult, because I've come off so many different drugs in the past, heroin and pills, and you know, nicotine is the next one I need to deal with, which I'll do a video on that in the near future. So I wanted to conclude my thoughts on cannabis and just reassert what I've already said in the previous videos, and you know, if it's something you're using, to be very cautious. And my advice, if you were to do it, I think you need to take full control of that yourself and grow it. Seek the natural plants, and then breed your own strains. Now, the strains that are high in CBD it's called Ruderalis, or Ruderalis. There's indica, sativa, and Ruderalis. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but that's the main three categories of plants. Now, sativa and indica are very predominantly high in THC, and there's a broad range of the effects. You know, each can be very psychoactive or not, but the Ruderalis is more of a hemp-driven strain. The less THC, sort of like what farmers grow for rope. It's like 0.3%. So that would be the strain where the some benefits can be helpful, but it's the THC which helps pain relief. So that's where the dangers are. So you'd need to breed a balancing strain, and that's where you need to err on the side of caution. And if you're doing it, if it's in your control and you're keeping it in a safe environment and you're digesting it, I think that's the safest route to take, and to do it carefully, and to test it and measure it, and to do it in faith, in prayer, and know that you're, you know, you're approved doing that. That's really my thoughts on concluding thoughts. Thank you very much.